Welcome to the Deep Dive into Agile Marketing Podcast with your host, John Cass. Together, we'll take a closer look at the ins and outs of marketing through an Agile lens. You'll learn from interviews with top Agile thought leaders and practitioners, and gain fresh new insights for your journey. Let's get ready to dive in.
Welcome to the Global Agile Marketing Podcast with John Cass. I'm your host, John Cass, here in Boston, Massachusetts. Today, I'll be interviewing Christophe Martinot, co-founder of SeedingEnergy and founder of Agile Way for All. Welcome, Christophe.
Hello, John. Thank you for the invitation.
It's great to have you. So today we're going to be talking about the state of Agile marketing in Spain. And in preparing for this call, we talked a little about your journey to using Agile marketing. I think we should start, while the focus is on Spain, I think we should start with how you got started in Agile marketing.
You know, John, the thing is, the first step for me maybe to explain is that I've spent more than 20 years in big corporate like Danone, L'Oreal, Abbott, Sanofi. And during those 20 years of corporate experience, I found out that there was a lack of efficiency in most of those companies. Even if companies were talking about high client centricity, I was missing that. I was also suffering from the heavy processes and the lack of innovations in those companies. So when I decided to quit and leave the corporate world, I found out and I discovered that Agile was a methodology used by IT people from years now and with great results. I started to investigate and found out that actually in the US, many companies and many people were already practicing and implementing Agile to marketing. And I found it really interesting as my background was most of it in marketing roles. So I decided to investigate and to see what was this Agile marketing and if it made sense for companies in Spain to be implemented and to be trained on how to use Agile in their marketing department.
Well, that's great. Can you tell me a little bit about the business culture and structure of business and marketing in Spain and how that impacts how open marketers and businesses are to the Agile approach?
Yes, well, in Spain, the business culture and the organizational structures are very hierarchical. So usually you have a lot of family-owned businesses, and of course you also have multinational affiliates, but they're run in the traditional Spanish way. And when I say so, what I mean is that they uphold strictly separated divisions and a strong hierarchical system. So generally speaking, individualism is predominant in management and teamwork is not so much appreciated. So basically, the figure of the boss deciding for the entire team and the team having to execute what the boss has said is what you will mainly find in Spain. However, this is changing, and this is changing due to a growing number of young people coming into those organizations and having been educated either in Spain in very good business schools or either in different business schools abroad. But this hierarchical system is changing. And of course, you can imagine that when you have so much hierarchy, this will impact the Agile mindset that we want to implement in those companies.
What is your assessment of the level of adoption of Agile marketing by companies? You know, what examples do you have?
It's a very good question. And this is actually a question that makes me struggle here in Spain because the Spanish market is not very mature in terms of Agile marketing adoption. Every marketer going through our training, usually, they discover literally this new way of working and are immediately seduced. Saying that, I would estimate that less than 1% of companies here in Spain are adopting Agile marketing. And I would be very generous saying that it's 1%. However, what I have to say is that I really sense a real interest for the topic. And I really sense that when people have heard about Agile, they're really interested to see how to adopt Agile in their marketing department. The things are moving slowly, but surely. I think one of the good signs is that now business schools are getting interested in the topic as well. And for instance, I've been recently asked to teach agile marketing in 2 different business schools. So adoption is very low, but I think the future is good for agile marketing here in Spain.
Why do you think that agile marketing is so immature in Spain? I think back to your answer on, the question about culture, and that's one of the reasons why I asked this question.
Yeah, and I think the link that you've just made, John, is correct. It's probably due to the business culture and structure of the organization. The boss fears to lose his power, and this is something that I've seen in many organizations for which I've been working. So the fact that it's very hierarchical and the fear of delegating and trusting the team members is something that is probably slowing down the adoption of Agile in marketing department. In any case, I would say, usually you don't know what you don't know. And what do I mean by that is that basically many marketers still in Spain are not aware of what Agile is, and they are not aware of the benefits that Agile could bring to the way of working that they have currently in their companies. So there is a lot of work to do with regards to sensitivity and to create awareness among marketers to the fact that Agile would be beneficial for them to implement.
Is there the same drive for perfection by marketers in Spain that we see around the world?
Well, yes, definitely. I think that Spanish marketers are really good. They're great professionals and they're keen to perfection, definitely. They usually are early adapters when we talk about new marketing tools and so on. The issue with agile marketing, again, it's for me the fact that they don't know that this is a possibility for them. And again, when I see people coming to our trainings and finishing our training, when they find out and when they've discovered what Agile could mean for them, they end up loving Agile and willing to implement it as soon as possible. But definitely, they're keen to perfection.
How are companies deploying Agile in Spain? What different types of adoption have you seen? Is it in Scrum, Kanban, hybrid? What have you seen?
So what I am seeing is definitely hybrid models. I think this is not different from the rest of the world, probably, because what I've been reading and what I'm seeing here in Spain is that usually people, when they contact me, it's because they've tried Scrum and Scrum didn't work. And what they find out is that probably they need to be more flexible in their Agile approaches and really use the different Agile frameworks and find out what suits the best for their practices. So basically, in Spain, I would say it's more a hybrid adoption than a specific framework.
In Spain, what community members or organizations are supporting Agile marketing? Are there podcasts, LinkedIn groups, other organizations? What's the state of the infrastructure there?
Oh, the state of the infrastructure is very low again. There is not much happening. There are many Agilist groups, but more directed to IT people. And with regards to marketing, very few. We have launched a few years ago a community called Agile Way for All. And our intention is definitely to have our members able to share information, to get support, to get advices from other community members, to be able to read our posts and to listen to the podcast that we could publish in the future.
And what's the state of training for Agile marketing in Spain?
I think we are the only company offering an IC Agile marketing certification. There are some companies offering Agile marketing training, but there are not so many. And this is, again, very much linked to the fact that Agile marketing is not enough known in Spain. So not so many training happening. We are offering public and private training, in-company training, and step by step, we're moving forward in order to expand this training to the marketeers here in Spain.
How are C-suite leaders reacting to the adoption of Agile marketing? Is there more transparency and communication between the marketing department and then also those stakeholders, those C-suite leaders?
Well, I would say it's again linked with the fact that we are in very hierarchical structures, right? So for companies or organizations that have decided to adopt Agile, we can see that there is a predisposition from the leaders to adopt it. But usually there is some resistance. But I would say also that the leaders understand that with the new VUCA environment, as well as the expectation from the clients and the customers, they have to make a switch and they have to adopt new ways of working.
What are the big problems with the marketing profession in Spain? MarTech adoption and resources. Is there enough focus on customer insights and building customer journeys? Here are some ideas, but how would you describe those issues in the marketing profession in Spain today?
Well, I would say that with regards to MarTech adoptions and resources or customers' insights, those are not big problems here in Spain. Companies are really understanding that this is absolutely necessary to have those kind of adoptions. But what I would say, and what I am seeing, is that usually the focus on customers could be a hidden problem that marketers have not identified. And why am I saying so? It's because usually when I talk about the value creation, this is something that I often miss in marketing department from those companies. During our training, we talk about the difference between output and outcome. I can see that it's not always clear in marketers' minds. So for me, one of the big problems that we have here in Spain with regard to marketing is that the customer centricity is not approached in the sense of creating value for the clients or the customers.
And what do you think is the future for agile marketing in Spain?
I think the future is bright. We're still, as I said, in the phase of creating awareness, but observing the feedback of people taking the training and talking to many marketing directors, I can see that the implementation of agile marketing has a bright future. And it's just a question of time, consistency, and perseverance.
Well, thank you so much, Christophe. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about the state of agile marketing in Spain.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure to be with you.
So thanks for joining us for the Global Agile Marketing Podcast with John Cass. My thanks to Christophe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Deep Dive into Agile Marketing Podcast. Be sure and subscribe to our show and leave a review to let us know what you thought of today's episode. And if you like what you heard and want to learn more, visit www.businessagility.institute.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Christy Heiler hosts a fantastic podcast called Own It. Christy, tell us more about the show.
Own It is all about celebrating women and non-binary advertising agency owners. We talk about buying out of the boys' club of advertising because less than 1% of ad agencies are owned by women.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find the podcast at untilyouownit.com. We're also on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net. And of course, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.